Pro Football Weekly has ranked all of the NFL head coaches 1 through 32. We're currently looking at the top of that list, working our way down from number 5. Number 5, Sean Payton, a Super Bowl a couple of years ago. And number 4, Andy Reid, maybe the most criticized, highly ranked coach on our list.
Yeah, I think Andy Reid, outside of Philadelphia, has an excellent reputation. A lot of Eagles fans obviously get a little testy. You know, Sean Payton, I think the loss last year in the playoffs of the Seahawks may have knocked him down a peg or two, but obviously considered one of the more brilliant offensive minds in the game. At numbers 3 and 2, we have last year's Super Bowl teams, Mike McCarthy with the Packers and Mike Tomlin with the Steelers. I think Tomlin gets the edge because he's now been to 2 Super Bowls, but can we make the argument that McCarthy's the better coach?
Yeah, McCarthy kind of had that knock on him that he couldn't win the big game until last year, and then he won everything. And Mike Tomlin, I mean, just you figure in such a short period of time, he's really jumped in there. He wasn't highly regarded as, you know, a coach in waiting before he got hired there, and jumps right in, takes him to 2 Super Bowls, including 1 win. Pretty impressive. No real surprise, number 1 on our list.
Bill Belichick, I mean, it's really hard to argue against. Maybe in 5 years, 10 years, Tomlin takes him over. McCarthy builds an empire up in Green Bay. But Belichick, 3 Super Bowl wins, a long career as an assistant, learned from his mistakes in Cleveland, obviously has risen to the top of the list. You'd be hard-pressed to make an argument other than Bill. But we want to take a look at some of the other guys on the list, Adam, and we go down to numbers 7 and 8. Really interesting argument going on here between Rex Ryan and John Harbaugh. Obviously, Ryan beat Harbaugh. You know, we've got a little thing going on there. Former Ravens, the guy who got the job over him. You think Rex is a better head coach than John Harbaugh? I
mean, it's tough to say. Harbaugh has a longer track record. We've seen him as a head coach longer, but Rex, 2 straight AFC championship games. You know, Harbaugh's never gone any further than that. So it's hard to say that anyone's really, that Harbaugh should be ahead of Rex, considering the amount of success he's had in a short period of time. And for entertainment value alone, I feel like I move Rex up a little bit.
It's only a matter of time, I think, before he wins the Super Bowl, too. I mean, you got to see Rex. You just can't picture him not being on that podium at some point.
Sure, certainly seems like it. And both these guys, it seemed like, could very well be Super Bowl winning head coaches in a very short period of time. It's such a good list of so many good coaches that at 7 and 8, still pretty good. A couple of other guys in similar situations. At 11 and 12, we have Lovie Smith and John Fox. Both guys have taken teams to Super Bowls. Moved down a little bit. A lot of criticism for these guys, too, though.
The Ambien twins, right? The most boring coaches in the league. I mean, Lovie Smith in Chicago puts people to sleep. But guess what? He's in the left-hand column quite a bit. Wins a lot of football games. John Fox, too. When they got to the playoffs down in Carolina, you know, they made some damage for the most part. And I think Panthers fans are maybe not crazy about him leaving. They're excited that he actually is gone.
I think people remember the bad times more than the good. So when you have these seasons like they had last year, winning 1 game or something, you forget about they had a lot of double-digit win seasons and took them pretty far in the playoffs.
By far his worst season there. So one guy we also want to mention, Steve Spagnuolo at 24. You got Jim Schwartz right behind him. 2 young coaches I think could really vault up the list. Spagnuolo went from 1 and 15 to almost on the verge of the playoffs last year. You'd have to think he could be bumped up on next year's list.
Yeah, you certainly think so. Last year at this time, we probably would have been at the very bottom of our list. I mean, he was questioned whether he was even going to make it through the season. Next thing you know, they're battling for an NFC West title. They have their quarterback of the future, a pretty good defensive scheme that he runs there. At 24, I could see him moving up again another leap next year to where he could be a top 15 coach, considering if they continue in their development. What do you guys think? How's this list? Belichick, should he be number 1? I don't think too much of an argument. Maybe you think differently. Let us know. Go to Facebook, go to Twitter, or check us out at ProFootballWeekly.com.